Hello everybody. I had an idea for... Oh my god, that game... Okay. We started off with a massive life spike out of nowhere, but as I was saying, I had an idea for quite a while about having a Boxfish build, whereby either you were dealing exactly 20 damage to the 2020 units, or you were just barely breakpointing them with some, say, like a 2021 unit. It's kind of weird because Boxfish is like, in order to turn 5 units to 2020s, you would have to get it level 3 and put Mushroom on it, or have a board slot taken up by Tiger, which makes things kind of difficult. And also, for the majority of the time Boxfish was out, I didn't actually get a chance to use it. I didn't have Boxfish as an available pet until I did the achievement streams, because then for that I ended up getting the final mini packs that I needed. But now I finally get to show this off. It's just one of the many ways you can use Boxfish, and I think it's like so underused. Even after a couple of people like made videos on it beating big stat boards, still so underused regardless. But this was a build where I was dealing exactly 20 damage to Boxfish units through a pretty funny way. It's not the best way to do it by any means, but it's definitely one of the ways you can do it. I wanted it to all happen start of battle. And I wanted like Anubis with Churros as part of it, because that way you can deal with snipes a little bit more easily, because, you know, the Anubis activates starter battles front to back, and then if it itself activates before anything else, then as do all of the other abilities. But this was a fun run to go for nonetheless. Just Anubis and some very specific units, which like specifically got the 20 damage threshold. I'd love to see what other ways people can come up with of doing this sort of thing. I really would. But now we're gonna lose this fight. Because I'm sure there's so many possibilities to get exactly a 20 damage snipe. My original thought was to use Leopard. But then at that point you'd get it to 40 attack and it would, just be a big Leopard, which isn't particularly interesting. Big Leopard has kind of been done a lot before. So instead I wanted to bring back something which used to be fairly meta, but kind of fell out of fashion. Which you'll see in a little bit. Here's the Anubis. Now the other thing to note about this build is because Boxfish is a tier 6, you have to get Anubis to level 3 to make it activate the Boxfish, which is kind of the goal of this sort of build. You get the Boxfish to happen first, and then you get the 20 damage hits, or the breakpoints to happen. Or something like a Flamingo, if you also set your own team to 2020. But the good thing about that is that you can then just freely use tier 5s and tier 6s for feint abilities, because if you're getting the Anubis to level 3 anyway, why not? So here we go, we have Churros on it, and I've saved some lives, but not a massive amount. I have this big Cuddle Toad, which is slowly getting gold from an elk. I'm pretty heavily greeting this other bonobo as well. Here's Trout Gold. This is an insanely unhinged board for turn 8. By the way, what do you mean there's like a 2240 and also a skunk and also another decently sized unit? Say what you want, Trout Girl has mastered her craft. But regardless, I take Cat here. I'm on 2 lives at this point. Like, I just take this sushi because I want to try and save at least 1 more life. Because it's a very awkward pivot to make if I go to 1 life at this point. But unfortunately, Giga Ailments and Vampire Bat. So we're on 1 life at this point, 3 wins, turn 10. Kind of terrifying. And I chocolate the Anubis, because I'm figuring I have to. And the Anubis is also the only thing on this board that's staying, so I have to buff it. You may argue that the buffing is kind of pointless with Churro's already there, but again, I didn't have a better unit to buff. So I decided to sell out of the Cuddle Toad now. Just because I want to get this level 3 Anubis going. Like, if nothing else, it's just tempo right now because I have the Niala on board already. Which is going to be part of the final build. And here's another Niala. So this is like 4 activations of Niala, which is 32 trumpets, and I have to hope that that's just enough. Pretty much. In this case it is. Dolphin Snipes on that relevant and the Dolphin Melon. And here's the Nurse Shark. That's right, we're bringing this back. Well, eventually. I'm taking an Alpaca first. And again, even then, like, I'm on 1 life still. I'm just taking a Skunk for now. It's not great, but I'm happy with it. So, at this point, we're activating front to back. We get the trumpets. We get the trigger on Nurse Shark as well. And these happen front to back, so there's trumpets to spend. This on its own is nothing new. And it gets to activate again, even. Which is the cool thing about Anubis build, is the fact that you get the feint ability twice, like this. Anyway, here's the Boxfish. Finally. The elk is pretty big, so I'm not comfortable selling it just yet. But now I have a replacement. So you start to see... Hi, Metabrusque. You start to see how this is going to work. It's actually our unit that gets a 2020 because Metabrusque's board is pretty small stat-wise. But, I mean, it's pretty big with, you know, a level 3 Eagle and 2 Rockhopper Penguins. Just makes my 2020 into a 2020. But we're actually okay here because this Nurse Shark is level 2. So it's able to hit both of these, and then we trade. Finally selling out of this elk. Cycle Oyster. And I want level 3 Nurse Shark. Just because, you know, it's as many hits as possible. I can't really do it yet, but that's okay. I'm always buying this Nurse Shark anyway because I need something to fill out that open slot. And so when I see the chocolate, I mean, why not go for level 3? This was a fun fight. This guy has a 2 squad of Macaque Flying Fish Love Potion, which is pretty fun. So actually, because of the churros, our Anubis goes before anything gets summoned. And although we do quite a lot of damage, the orangutans get summoned, and then they get, like, stats. But then the Boxfish goes again and sets them to 2020 again. And the Nurse Sharks get another chance to snipe. And they're basically able to trade everything. And by trade everything, I mean get a draw. So, the other thing is, you know, the assumption is the Nurse Shark will try to hit something with a 2020 stat line. courtesy of the Boxfish. And so it's hitting for 18 damage because it's spending up to 6 trumpets and dealing triple as damage. What is the other source of damage? Where is the extra 2 damage coming from? Speaking of, look at this stat team. Immediately drop their biggest units to 2020. And then we kill most of their board with the Nurse Shark snipes. And then we're setting more things to 2020, just in case this wasn't set to it enough. And we have plenty of snipes to win. I'm still looking for the last unit that I want to get. Cycle out this anglerfish, because it's another cow. I'm buffing the boxfish here because, I don't know, I thought it'd be fun. Truthfully, I probably shouldn't have even taken this other cow. Because level 3 boxfish would complement this build pretty nicely. But here we go. I took the peanut. I can't actually take the hedgehog yet, because it deals 2 damage to all pets. When I saw this, I actually didn't initially know the interaction, because I haven't messed with Anubis all that much. But my assumption is that when it says all, it means, like, everything. And so I was worried that the hedgehog would die out of order, because it would deal 2 damage to itself as well as the other units. So I wasn't ready to buy it yet. Here is Luska. I heavily respect this board. And in fact, I'm sure there's something you can do with Anubis Luska as well, if you wanted. But units have been set to 2020. This board is already pretty small. And in fact, we're able to just kill the Luska. The Lynx kills most of our board, but it doesn't really matter. And we're fine. Now, honestly, I was happy with this run just because this worked once. We put Pie on the hedgehog to now let it live. Like, sure, you definitely could have had a better run of this. But I was happy to see this just go off once. So the idea is Boxfish bringing units to 2020. Nyala generates trumpets. Nurse Shark deals 18 damage exactly. And we just kind of hope that it'll hit the right units, to be honest. There are definitely better ways to do this, but this way is pretty funny. And then the hedgehog deals 2 damage to everything, which finishes off the 2020 units. Very clearly a lot of flaws in this build. Because it fails to answer the questions of what if a unit has a perk on it. Like, at all. But, I mean, the build is Nyala Nurse Shark, and that's just pretty strong in general. So here's how it works, and, like, the Anubis activates, all of these go before the swordfish can even do anything. We set units to 2020, which does reduce the damage the swordfish deals, but that doesn't particularly matter. We gain trumpets, and we hit like this. So it worked on one unit here, and then the hedgehog activates, and does the last 2 damage to finish the unit off. I don't know, something about that just makes me laugh. I don't know what it is. But yeah, our Anubis dies. Our units get weakened about 50 times over. And I mean, we can set things to 2020 again. You want to see that? This will hit all 3 units. Unfortunately, because the Anubis died, we actually get the trumpet summon early, so we can't get the hedgehog to get value again. But, you know, it was cool other than that. So now we're just in the buy food territory, because the hedgehog doesn't need to be leveled. But I do want to make sure it doesn't have anything weird happen to it. So give it a bit of health. Put a mushroom on the Nyala. And this battle... Oh my god, this battle was so nice to see. I mean, look at this board, right? Like, this is full, almost full 50/50s. You got scalers, you got level 3 Silver Fox money, you got like almost a level 3 Bakunawa, you got a 50/50 level 2 Sleipnir. Like, it looks so tremendously over. But we're equipped to deal with big stats. Check this out. So we get the Anubis activation, because we're not being disrupted by anything. We set these two to 2020. We get the activations. In fact, the T-Rex was already just 2020 by pure chance. And we managed to hit it here. And so the Hedgehog kills it. And then also gets rid of perks. Oh no, we're sleepy. And then we've set the rest... We've set the rest of the board to 2020 stats. Oh no, we're giving them free gold. Whatever will we do? And then, because we're able to do this whole combo again, uninterrupted, we actually kill the Bakunawa. And the snipes hit both of our remaining units. And then the Hedgehog... The Hedgehog hits them both. I like clapping my hands together like the monkey. Like the little toy monkey that's got like the symbols. My brain gets so much dopamine seeing the Hedgehog be the final blow to these units that were once upon a time 50/50. And then we have the Retriever summon to win the fight. I love it. I love it. And so here at this point I'm just buying whatever I can. We'll get a celery on the Nurse Shark. Why not? And here's another pretty big stat team. It's not as big as the last one. But here go the activations. These guys get sent to 2020. But, I mean, there's melons on this entire board. Luckily, the first round just takes off all of the protective equipment. And then the Mantis Shrimp kills the Boxfish. These guys get sent back to 2020 because they had jumped and got stats. And the yellow comes back. Very cool snipes. And in fact, the Mana Potion actually stopped the Hedgehog from being the star of the show by killing the thing on 2 HP. But oh well, we got to see the build work once, and we get it over the line. Turn 18. And I mean, this didn't even take that long to run. Like, this only took a few attempts to get a build out of, because this is just a strong board. With the Churros. But I'd love to see what like funny combinations you guys can come up with for, you know, you use a Boxfish to get something down to 2020 and then you humiliate it by having like a farmer mouse to get your unit to a 2021, or you have some way to deal exactly 20 damage to them that just would not work if you didn't have the Boxfish setting the stats manually like that. I think Boxfish is such a cool unit, and I'm so glad to finally get the chance to use it. And that's about it. Have a wonderful day.